So I finally finished my Raging Spirits build. Now, one thing I don't like about Raging Spirits is you can't check how much damage they do, which is pretty fucking dumb, in my opinion. Like, why can't we not see how much damage they do, you know? But other than that, the build performs fine. It does uh, all content in the game. I don't know if it can do 200% Delirious. I still haven't done the Delirium quest line. But it can do juiced breaches, and I've got it to where it can kill bosses pretty fast, honestly. So, uh, so I don't know. It's a good build. So I'll go over the gear. I'll go over, or actually, I'll go over the supports first and the just the skills that we're using. We're using Raging Spirits, of course, but we got Feeding Frenzy 2, Fire Attunement, which I don't really know if this is worth using over Chaos Attunement because I can't check the damage. If I could check the damage, I'd know, but I don't know, so I'm using this instead. Then we got Elemental Armament 2, Rage 3, and Rapid Attacks 2. And then we got Flame Wall, which is specifically used for summoning the Raging Spirits. We use it for nothing else, which has Efficiency 2, Zenith 2, and Rapid Casting 2. And then we use Blasphemy, and we have Whispers of Doom anointed, or not anointed, my bad. We have Whispers of Doom allocated, so we're able to take two curses in here, and we take Elemental Weakness and Despair. But you can probably get rid of Elemental Weakness for uh, for something else like Temporal Chains. And the reason I say that is because we're not. I don't think we're really doing that much fire damage. And then the other two supports are just Magnified Area 2 and Heightened Curse 2. Or Heightened Curse, my bad. And then we have Eternal Rage, because for the Anoint we have Commanding Rage. So we're using Eternal Rage to take advantage of that. But that's about it for the supports and the skills. For the gear, we got two Ever Grasping Rings, because I don't have a Galandra's Touch yet. So we just have two of these with 30% extra damage as Chaos. And then we have a Vis Mortis, so we can get Unholy Might on our minions. Very powerful. That gives us 60% damage as extra Chaos. And you could get a way better belt, I'm not going to lie, because you can get a belt with minion stats now. So the belt is very replaceable. The boots are just whatever. We just got live fire res, more res, mana cost efficiency if you've rolled recently. Who cares? The boots are whatever. For the rest of the gear, the gloves, the shield. For the gloves and the shield, I mean, you want to get cap your resistances. Same with the belt. Same with the boots. You want to try and cap your resistances of all the rares and get as much resistance as many slots, as many augmentable slots as possible. Uh, and then I use this because we need a little extra spirit to use all the spirit gems. So I got one of these, but you don't need the +1 to all level of minion skills. It's I just had the extra divines, so I got this. But the presence radius is doubled is very helpful for these rings and for your scepter. But I don't think it affects blasphemy. I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect blasphemy. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong about that, then tell me in the comments. But other than that, yeah. And then we have Defiance of Destiny, so we can survive because we're a life stacking build. That's another thing. On all the rares, you want to get as much life as possible. That's another thing. You want to hit at least 3,000 life, which should be pretty easy because we have 3 Grand Spectrum rubies. And then I just have Prism of Belief of +3 to level of all Raging Spirit skills because it's cheap. The most expensive item of the build is going to be your Scepter. Now, you actually don't want Skeletal Warrior minions. I'm probably going to get a new Scepter. What you really want is like an aura, so you don't have to cap as many resistances and you can get more life. You might be able to hit 4,000 life that way. So get get one with like a lightning aura for lightning resistance. I believe there's one for that. Or you could get fulmination for that extra damage. Fulmination would be pretty nice too. Other than that, on the scepter, you want to look for plus to level of all minion skills, +4 at the very least. Allies in your presence have increased attack speed, 6% at the least. I don't even think it can go lower. No, it can. Okay, 6% at the least. And then allies in your presence deal increased damage. You want 80% at the least for that. Oops. Yeah, it can go up to 89 apparently, but you want 80% for that. And you could get one with more spirit, but I don't think you need it because we're using this. This build has some customizability. You don't have to like do everything I'm doing exactly how I'm doing it. For example, the belt, you could use a belt with 100 spirit. I'm not going to explain how to do that. Just look it up, and then you could replace the helmet. But then you'd lose the presence radius is doubled, so it would be kind of if you you could use a helmet with +2 to minion skills, so it would be up to you. Or you could use a scepter with 100 spirit, which would be with 200 spirit, which would be very very expensive. But then you could just replace this and get a +2 helmet. You could also anoint a rare helmet. You might, I think you can anoint a unique one too. It just depends on the sockets. I'm not doing that because it's expensive as fuck, but you could. So you could have 2 anoints. Like I'm saying, there's a lot of flexibility of what you can do with the build. But we're not using muster, so skeletal warrior minions is kind of useless. I'm not gonna lie. And then I just have a rite of passage that's really cheap. This one's really cheap. Serpent. I like snakes, so I said, fuck it, I'll get the serpent one. And then Levianga's spirits, and as good of a life flask as you can get. And that's about it. That's the whole build, pretty much. I'll go over the tree, and I'll go over the ascendancy, but everything's pretty standard. For the ascendancy, you want to get gem studded. Uh, Actually, now I'm reading it. Gem studded is kind of useless, but you can still get it. Whatever. Virtuous barrier, advanced thaumaturgy, neurological implants. You want to get it for intelligence. You definitely want to get advanced thaumaturgy because that actually unlocks a core portion of this build that makes this possible. That I don't think this build would be possible without. And what we're talking about is minions deal percent more damage. Right down there where it says additional effects from quality. You want to get that and minions deal more damage. Unfortunately, the only way to get that is with advanced thaumaturgy. Uh, unfortunately, it would be nice if you could get it some other way, but to my knowledge, that's the only way. And yeah, that's it. You're going to do a shitload of damage. They have a lot of attack speed because support skills have 15% increased attack speed while you are not at maximum rage. And our raging spirits are very rarely at maximum rage. And then we have rapid attacks too for 25% increased attack speed. So that's 40% total, I believe. Yeah, 40. So yeah. And they get rage on melee hits, so that gives them even more damage when they do attack. These two, I don't know if these two are really worth using because I can't look at the damage that the raging spirits do. So these two supports could be completely useless, or just add a little extra damage, like a little bit. I really don't know. I think they add a pretty like a small boost. So I'm keeping them in there. For Eternal Rage, you could lose some damage by getting rid of Commanding Rage and Eternal Rage and putting on some a companion with loyalty that would give you a lot more survivability. But you could also lose the chest plate, the body armor. I mean, you could lose the body armor and get one with get the one that gives you a free companion. That would be lit. That would work as well. And then you could also lose the helmet and lose blasphemy and get the helmet that gives you. Basically, you can turn this build into a tank if you really want to. But right now, the survivability is just on the mid side. It's in the middle because of Defiance of Destiny. It says we have 3,400, but with 3,000 life in Defiance of Destiny, you basically have around like 4,000 because it takes a percentage. I can't stress this enough though. You have to get a good Defiance of Destiny. You have to get one with at least 35% of missing life before being hit by an enemy. You have to get one with a good stat for that. And that's about it. And I just got a good shield, a really good shield, because I was like, fuck it, I might use this shield for another build, so I'll get one that has a really good armor rating, just in case I decide to slap it on a shield wall build or something. And that's it. I might look into getting a better scepter right now, actually. Oh, I just realized this has added fire damage. That's actually not too bad. The only gripe I really have about this build is it's a little slow, and the reason I say that is because you can't summon. There's no possible way to summon more than two raging spirits at a time, which kind of sucks. I wish there was. I wish there was a way to summon more than two at a time. There used to be, but they like patched it out. They got rid of it. So used to be able to summon like all 12 at once. But yeah, right now, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, you can only summon two at once. I have it right now. I have it set up for like the most damage possible. But like I said before, you could go to tanky or out and set it up for that. I feel like both would be very viable. So for the tree, we just go all the way over here. We take as few nodes as possible to get here, so we can get Deadly Swarm, and then we go over here and we get minion damage. Come up here and we get more minion damage and shit. Minion attack speed. Come over here for minion damage and minion attack speed. And then we come down here strictly for the Grand Spectrum Ruby. We come over here for minions break armor equal to 3% of physical damage dealt. And we get Relentless Fallen for movement speed, I believe, attack speed and movement speed. And we get minion damage. I already mentioned Whispers of Doom. Get Ingenuity for intelligence. We get this right here strictly for the Grand Spectrum. You get more minion damage. Probably don't need this, but I got it anyways. And we get all these because we want them to have a little extra duration, but we also want to have +2 to the limit of minions we can summon. And then more damage. And then we come down here and we get even more damage. And that's about it. That's the whole tree. It's pretty standard for in terms of minions. It's pretty standard. I feel like most minion builds go the same route in terms of the passive tree. I'll show a little bit of gameplay. I don't really, it works on everything. You can either believe me or not. I don't really care. But I'll show like what we got here. Do I have any good maps? Doesn't look like I do. I'll just run this. I don't give a fuck. Or actually, never mind. I do care. Let's put an alchemy orb on it, just so we can get a little juice out of it. Just a little bit. My fucking man, my shit's a mess, but fuck it, dog. Yeah, I'll do one with Delirium too. Even though I have not done the Delirium quest line. I was using minion splash damage, but I really just don't think you need it. I think you're better off just getting the rapid attacks. But this is it. You just spawn Flame Walls, and you spawn summon Raging Spirits. And you do damage. And with Defiance of Destiny, you're able to survive and take damage. If you want slightly better clear speed, I would say get rid of this and put Minion Splash. That's going to be your best bet, I think, for like slightly better clear speed. But like I said, this whole build, the whole idea was for me to try and figure out like how much damage can I get out of this, you know? That was my introductory concept. But as you can see, the clear speed's pretty good. Like I said, the tankiness isn't really like that crazy, but as I also said, you could do more with the tankiness. You could make it a lot tankier if you wanted to. You'd be sacrificing a little bit of damage, I feel like, but not too much. Because you'd still have 60% extra damage as chaos, and you'd still have over 60% more damage from the additional effects of quality skill gems. So yeah, you just kind of shred. Like, not much else to really showcase, honestly. It shreds, does a lot of damage, survives, does what it needs to do, and it's a minion build. And he uses Raging Spirits only, so yeah, we have the little skeletal warrior minions, but they don't do much. They're just kind of there because they're part of Deceptive. I would probably recommend getting Fulmination. Get Fulmination so you can get a little more damage. That'll probably be lit. And as far as I know, to my knowledge, the Raging Spirits are untargetable. So they're not going to get attacked deliberately. They might get attacked by like. Yeah, we'll do this. What is this? We'll just do it. I guarantee you, this build could do most content in the game. I mean, if the boss kill wasn't proof enough, I don't really know what will be. To be fair though, this isn't really just this is like a shit. This is a whatever map. You know, but still, I'm pretty confident in saying you can do most content in the game, if not all content. We got 90% extra damage chaos. We got 60%, over 60% more damage. What else? 40% increased attack speed on our minions. Even more attack speed because we have commanding rage. And we're stacking a little bit of rage, not that much. Actually, we're not stacking rage at all. We're just using the base 30 rage you get. But yeah, that's the build. I would say try this on other ascendancies, other classes and such, but I really don't know if your damage is going to be high enough without the. You might be like, oh, well, Unholy Might, and then you stack mana or intelligence and mana and all that, right? With Lich, but I don't think that's going to outdo 60% more damage, dog. Like, like how is like if you okay? The only way I could see it doing more damage, a build doing more damage in this version, is if you stack crit chance. If you stack crit chance and crit damage on your minions, I could see it. I could with Jules, I could definitely see it happening. But as it is, without, nah. I think you're going to struggle to try and hit this much damage. That's it for the video, though. It's just something I've been working on a little bit that I wanted to go ahead and showcase. I just think it's kind of cool that you can turn Raging Spirits into like your main skill. All right, that's that. Thanks for watching. Try it out. Try it out on Gemling Legionnaire.